It's a great day. I lost Joe, who's supposed to start us off here. All right. Joe, you're up.
Who said that?
I said that. Get to work here.
Governor, you're a young man, for God's sakes.
Let's
I'm an
do
old
it.
man. You got to get me. Welcome, everyone. What an exciting day for Rhoads Industries. It really is. Very, very exciting. And we're honored to have the governor here with us today and many other important representatives from the state and across the region. I've been asked before we get started to name some of those people that are here today. First of all, Chairman Jordan Harris will be one of our speakers today. We're thrilled that you're here. Greg Devins, from board chair of Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce. I was just sitting with you, Greg. Oh, there you are, Greg, and he'll be speaker. Ryan Boyer, business manager for the Philadelphia Building Trades. There you go. TJ LaPera, political director for IBW Local 98. Mark Dickens, president, operating engineers Local 542. And if you don't want to be identified, don't raise your hand. It's okay. We can do this. Sam Rhoads here from PIDC, executive vice president there. Sam's with us today. And John Reap, senior representative for the Millwrights Union for the Eastern District. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Wonderful to see you. I want to kick us off with a little historical perspective. I'm not going to take long, I promise, because I'm standing between you and the cool shade down the road, and so is the governor. So to begin with, we have to remember that where you're sitting today in 1871 became the nation's first public shipyard. Actually, their first one was built in 1775, but out in the Delaware River on Front Street. So the reason I mention that is the second thing that hits me is this is also where the U.S. Navy and the Marine Corps began. They have their origins, and there's an event coming up in October of this year to invest. It's called Navy Marine Corps 250. Now, why do I even mention that? Here's why I mention it. Rhoads Industries started in 1896. 1872, 1896. It took Rhoads Industries over 100 years to find the roads to go from Front Street to the Navy Yard. But they finally made it. They made it with a big splash. So congratulations to all of us. It's really rather wonderful. I want to mention one other thing, too, about Rhoads and our culture. One of the things that Rhoads is known to do is get things done. That is, we're an action-oriented company. If you've toured the floor and you've met our people, we want to turn out product. We want to turn it around. We want to get it done. Somebody standing to my left has the kind of same attitude. If you all remember, when he first entered office, the governor ran into a little bit of a catastrophe in that an overpass on I-95 was collapsed. At that time, people thought it'll take a year or two before they rebuild that space. Within months, he had traffic running on there and got to know the national reputation of the get things done governor. And we really like that. The cultures of our organization.
Thanks, by the way, to the building trades.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
Yep.
And I'll say the thing you did was muster the building trades, and they were incredible as the labor here we have here today. So what I'd like to do is kind of move on and keep the party rolling and introduce Dan Rhoads, who's going to come up and make a few remarks. Dan?
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Dan Rhoads. Mike's my son, and we run the company. I like to say we co-CEO the company. Mike does all the work. I take all the credit. So, but I think we just want to thank a few people and then get over to the governor. The unions have been a big part of our success, and we're glad to see a lot of the unions here. Unlike most, a lot of manufacturers fight unions coming in. We embrace the unions coming in. We're showing the non-union guys down south that productivity is the name of the game. So our millwrights are a key part of our organization. Boilermakers are a key part. The electricians have been over the years. Their part of the work starts in about another year, or they'll be a key part. So we appreciate and the labor is what's key to our success. We're not confused. The people in the office aren't doing a whole lot. It's the people on the floor that are doing it. I might be a little direct about that, but we've also had a lot of support from different organizations. I think our customers have been good. Electric Boat, who's our prime customer on the submarine program. Northrop Grumman, who we team on a critical part for the submarine. And the Navy. We do a lot of work down in the Navy Yard. There's about 100 test sites down here. We supply all the blue-collar labor to those test sites. The next thing I want to talk about is the state. The state's funding came through at a critical time. Right at the beginning of Electric Boat, we needed to do a fair amount of infrastructure, and we had some grants that had accumulated from the state, from the governor, and that enabled us to get a head start on doing the development and getting the program moving. So we basically, beginning of 23, we were doing very little submarine work. Right now we have 350 people on submarines, and probably about 4 years we'll have about 1,000 people on submarines. So with that, I want to thank the governor for all his help, and then turn it over to the governor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Dan, thank you very much. It is good to be here at Rhoads, and it's great to be here with the entire team at Rhoads Industries. And I must tell you, I'm proud to be here today as the 48th governor of this great Commonwealth. I'm also proud to be here today as the son of a Navy guy who spent some time on a submarine. He was very excited to know that I was coming here today, and to be able to see the work you're doing and how that connected to my dad's previous life, I think is really, really special. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. This, of course, is a place that has literally forged the tools of freedom for the last 125 years. I wanted to be here today in part because a whole bunch of people keep saying, you got to get to Rhoads Industries. But I wanted to be here today on July 3rd for a particular meaning, because tomorrow Americans, of course, are going to pause to celebrate the birthday of this great nation, the greatest country on the face of the earth. And I think it is important when we pause tomorrow that we acknowledge we are honoring a band of patriots that came together to declare our independence and set us on a path of self-determination. And they did that work just a few miles from here. The cause of real freedom, a cause that generations of Americans have dedicated themselves to, started right here in the city of Philadelphia 249 years ago tomorrow. Since then, generations of Americans have fought to advance the cause, and for decades, Rhoads Industries has helped supply them with the necessary tools, equipment, and warship to protect our nation's interests and ensure our national security and freedom. Thanks to the work that's been done here throughout the Navy Yard by Rhoads Industries and others, our Navy has been able to patrol the seas around the globe, ensuring freedom, navigating, and securing global commerce. Thanks to the work done here, we're able to successfully wage the war on terror, bringing justice to killers who attacked innocent civilians and claimed lives in Shanksville, at the Pentagon, and of course in New York City. Thanks to the work that is being done here right now, America's Navy will continue to protect American interests and advance the cause of freedom against new threats that we face at home and around the globe. Rhoads is not just helping our service members protect our freedoms on the battlefield. They're also creating real freedom right here at home for children in the city of Philadelphia, creating pathways of opportunity from their school right here to the shipyard. How about that, Mr. Chairman? A school to shipyard pipeline. That's the kind of pipeline we can all support. With apprenticeship programs formed alongside Boilermakers Local 19, recruiting and training local high school students and young people like Boots Olson, who I met earlier, who you'll hear from in a moment, the opportunity to earn a great salary building and working on military-grade equipment right after graduation, that is really, really special, and it's right here in Philadelphia, and that's real freedom. I want to thank Ryan Boyer and the Philadelphia Building Trades for their commitment to not just the job sites and doing an amazing job, whether here at Rhoads or along that stretch of I-95. But they care deeply about the next generation of laborers, boilermakers, and electricians, and others. That's why this pipeline from our schools to Rhoads is so critically important. And so today, I'm proud to be here on the eve of America's birthday to announce that Rhoads Industries is investing $100 million in creating over 450 new jobs right here at the Navy Yard to ensure that the future of submarine manufacturing and shipbuilding and all things important to securing our freedom is going to run right here through the Philadelphia shipyard, Navy Yard, and through our waterfront. That's a big deal, and we want to thank Rhoads for their commitment to Philadelphia. That's 450 more opportunities for individuals to find freedom in their lives. 450 more opportunities for young people to be turned on to a career in welding, turned on to a career in shipmaking and submarine making right here at Rhoads, and giving them the opportunity to give back to their families and their communities as well. Our Commonwealth is here today to announce that we are investing $4 million in Rhoads to help them with their brand new production facility here on this site that's going to allow them to double their capacity for the U.S. Navy's submarine program. In addition to that Commonwealth's investment, we work closely with Rhoads to speed up our permitting process and get this built as quickly as possible and get people to work as quickly as possible and secure our freedoms more quicker than ever before. That's important work that's happening as a result of the partnership between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and Rhoads Industries. And by the way, that's on top of the $17 million our Commonwealth has previously invested in Rhoads' growth over the last decade. This investment that we are announcing today will expand Rhoads' footprint here, allowing them to manufacture the complex military-grade products more quickly, more efficiently. It'll give the company new access to another peer to allow for easier shipment of completed products so they can get to market more quickly and get these submarines out in the water as quick as possible. And with the Navy investing here in Philadelphia, it's going to build upon our already strong defense industry right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which contributes right now $35 billion to our state's economy every single year. I want you to know the Commonwealth is investing here because we believe it's good for our national security, it's good for our state's economy, and it's great for our local school kids. I believe in the future of the Navy Yard and the entire waterfront here in the city of Philadelphia. Greg Davins, who you're going to hear from in a moment, and the folks at the Chamber, well, they have, I know, many exciting opportunities for growth that they are working on and that we are partnering with them on. From Penn's Landing, where we're building a beautiful new park connecting Old City to the waterfront, to the port in Bellwether, where we're investing in a hub for logistics and life sciences and innovation, to the sports complex, where many of our city's most important organizations and civic leaders are now working together for the next chapter in that story, a chapter that's going to include not only great championships for our Philadelphia sports teams, including the new WNBA team that's coming to Philadelphia, but also making it a world-class district for recreation and opportunity for families and others all across this entire region. I think the entire stretch of the waterfront is poised for explosive growth, and I think it's one of the most exciting growth opportunities in the entire United States of America. Look, I'm no stranger to the Navy Yard. I think this is my third visit in just 2 months. One was to cheer on my wife and daughter when they ran Broad Street. The other, of course, was to be here in May when I visited the Greenway District to announce a $30 million Pennsylvania Sites grant to build out the electrical and water infrastructure to prepare for 700,000 more square feet of advanced manufacturing space right here at the Navy Yard. We are bullish on the incredible opportunities here. I want to say a special thanks to Chairman Jordan Harris, a local representative, but someone who serves as my partner and someone who serves as the chairman of the Appropriations Committee in the House of Representatives, a key player in determining where these investments go. And so we've worked together to make sure that these investments come not just to the city of Philadelphia, but to the waterfront and to the Navy Yard. So I'd ask that you put your hands together for a great partner and friend, the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Jordan Harris. I want you to know that my administration is all in when it comes to investing in the Navy Yard. I want to thank Andrew Pitts and the team at DCED who are here doing great work to ensure that the Navy Yard continues to flourish. I want to just close by talking a little bit more about freedom and national security. Right now, I believe that there is a battle for supremacy going on when it comes to critical national security interests. Some of them are going to be addressed here at Rhoads Industries, but others are going to be addressed on other battlefields, including the battlefield of AI supremacy. And that battle is either going to be won by the United States of America or by China. Earlier this month in Berwick, which is a community in northeastern Pennsylvania, I announced a partnership with Amazon to build multiple state-of-the-art data centers across our Commonwealth to power the AI infrastructure we need to compete, to power our global economy and the future of artificial intelligence. I announced that day with Amazon that they are investing an initial, and I want to stress the word initial, $20 billion in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That is by far the largest private sector investment in the history of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, beating the prior record by 3 times. And again, this is just the initial investment. Today, we're building on the progress we announced a month or so ago by making the future of shipbuilding another critically important component of our national security, making sure that the future runs right through Pennsylvania. So as we battle these important issues on national security, whether it's dominating in AI or dominating at the seas, you should know that it is the hands of Pennsylvania workers who are going to ensure our national security. Just like the hands of Pennsylvania steelmakers, Pennsylvania coal miners helped bring about the arsenal of democracy in prior generations, it is now important that we stop just focusing on the history books when we think about Pennsylvania's role in national security and start focusing on the future. The future of national security is right here in this Commonwealth, and a large measure of it is right here on this Navy Yard, and it is all being done by the strong hands of organized labor and the building trades across our Commonwealth. We should celebrate that as we celebrate the independence of this great nation. Pennsylvania workers are on the front lines making sure our national security is secured. So I want to say thank you to Rhoads. I want to say thank you for believing in us for more than a century. I want to say thank you to the building trades for making sure that we've got the hands of skilled labor here to be able to do this work and power our economy and strengthen our national security going forward. This is the kind of collaboration we need to continue to grow our economy in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I'm proud to be your governor. I'm proud to be the son of a Navy guy, and I'm proud to be here today at the Navy Yard to celebrate this great accomplishment with all of you. So thank you all very, very much. It is now my pleasure to bring up the hands that are going to help secure our national security. The hands of someone who decided in high school that their passion was for welding, and they found an opportunity right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, right here in the city of Philadelphia, to not only pursue their passion, but also to make a great wage. Someone who learned through the initiatives that we invest in, and now someone who's going to give back to our community. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Boots Olson. Thank you.
We got it, Boots.
Thank you, Governor, for the introduction. I've been asked to give a speech today about my experience, how I got here, and how it's been. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into that. Sorry, one second.
Take your time. You're good.
Okay.
The fact that you can read that is really impressive. Yeah.
Got the young welded eyes.
There
Give me
you
a couple
go.
years, might not be able to.
Thank you for rubbing that in. I appreciate it, Boots.
Right. Most girls that I knew growing up wanted to be ballerinas, teachers, nurses, the typically more traditional girl jobs. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Clearly, I missed the memo. Growing up, I always knew that I wanted to work with my hands. I come from a blue-collar background, with my dad being a union roofer and my sisters working various hands-on jobs throughout the years. My path into welding was not predetermined. Going into high school, I knew that I didn't want to pursue a higher college education, and so I started looking for other options. My senior year, I applied to Votech for welding and got accepted in. Going in my senior year meant that I was already behind, since most of the other kids in the program had already been there for 2 to 3 years. So I spent the year working my hardest to try to catch up. Fall of 2022, Rhoads Industries came to my VOTEC to tell us about their apprenticeship program. I was terrified. All of the mention of the Navy and the government and the submarine programs seemed so intimidating to someone with such little experience. I was just getting ready to start life and my career, and it seemed like an impossible challenge. It took some convincing from my VOTEC teacher and supportive folks around me to push that fear down and apply. I was so nervous for my interview that I may have showed up 3 hours early and watched Theo Von videos in the parking lot. But I went into my interview prepped and confident, and I got the job. My first day at Rhoads was a month after high school graduation. Day one, I jumped into trying to figure out what this job was all about and how I would fit in. Right in the door, Rhoads tells you to forget everything that you know about welding. They break you down to build you back up. Absolutely everything that you do is scrutinized, and rightly so, because we are welding on U.S. Navy submarines. Some days, I regret not choosing a stethoscope over a welding hood, but the skills and experience that I learned along the way end up being the most rewarding part of it all. There's growth out the challenges, and that's what this job is all about. Throughout the last 2 years that I've been at Rhoads Industries, I've been offered so many amazing experiences. From the welding certs that I'm allowed to acquire, to the events I'm invited to be a part of, and all of the people I have the joy of working with along the way. In my short time welding, I've received my MIL MIG certs, my MIL stick certs, my MIL TIG pipe certs, and various other certifications that allow me to be versatile and useful in almost any part of the production floor. That's all thanks to the Rhoads Training Center, who teaches and emphasizes to us what this DoD work is all about. My appreciation has grown immensely since becoming a part of this program. This training program has taught me that every weld you put down represents who you are as a welder and what your workmanship looks like. It takes a lot of pride to represent the industry the way that it deserves. Don't get me wrong, though, this job isn't for the weak. Nothing that they teach you will prepare you for how hard it is to get up every day and do this kind of work. But at the end of the day, it's one of the most rewarding careers that you could choose. Thankful to be here, and I look forward to everything else to come. So, thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. Great job.
I'd now like to bring Greg Devins up to speak next for you guys.
Bruce, that was awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. You did great.
Thank you.
did great. It's a tough act to follow.
It's a
Greg.
really tough act to follow. And I couldn't read it from my phone either, Governor, so you're in good company there. But Boots, great job, and I really appreciate you sharing that story with all of us. I want to just say, again, good morning to everybody. I'm really excited to be here, to Dan Rhoads and everyone at Rhoads Industries. I want to thank you for welcoming us to your great facility. And also, I know that it's going to be even greater with the new investment that's being made. And congratulations on a huge milestone. I'm extremely proud to represent our colleagues from across the region's business community and the 1,200 businesses that are served by the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia. We're celebrating the success of an outstanding company with Philadelphia roots that are nearly 130 years deep. Even more, we're excited to celebrate another example of what can be achieved in Philadelphia and across Pennsylvania when private and public sectors work in sync for the benefit of the communities and citizens that we serve. $100 million investment, 450 excellent new jobs, and $44 million in projected new payroll. That is a game-changing impact on our region. It's a remarkable commitment by Rhoads Industries, and it's another example of the Shapiro administration's proactive and successful approach to supporting major projects that boost local economies and create new jobs. As the governor has said repeatedly, he didn't put together a 10-year economic development strategy to have it sit on the shelf. Governor Shapiro, I want to thank you and your administration for aligning your attitude with your actions in this Commonwealth to make this a more competitive and attractive state for businesses and for the residents as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The vision that I've championed as chair of the Chamber is that Greater Philadelphia should be known as a region with the best opportunity for upward economic mobility. And the opportunities that are being created here are really embodied in that vision. And to make that happen, we need a robust growth engine that creates better jobs with attractive wages. We also need an infrastructure that helps our workforce prepare to succeed in those jobs. So I'm especially glad to note that Rhoads Industries' commitment to apprentice and pre-apprentice programs is really important, and I want to thank Boots for sharing her perspective and her experience as well. This is a really, really big day for Greater Philadelphia and for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to give another round of applause for Rhoads Industries and for the governor. This is, again, is an outstanding investment, an outstanding partnership. And now it is my honor to bring to the podium our House Appropriations Chair, Jordan Harris.
Thank you.
All right, good morning. Good morning. I'm about to say, I grew up in a black church, and I'm a former school teacher, so I'm used to call and response. I am State Representative Jordan Harris. I represent my neighbors as State Representative of the 186th District, which is parts of South and Southwest Philadelphia. I have the pleasure of serving my colleagues in the Commonwealth as the Majority Chairman of the House Appropriations Committee. Let me first thank my friend Governor Shapiro for his continued leadership in making sure that we do get stuff done in Pennsylvania. You can't start cussing before 12 o'clock.
It's a shipyard. You might
Yeah, you might be able to get away with it.
get away with it,
But see,
yeah.
my mom might see this on TV,
Yeah.
and then she'll call
we
my
don't
pastor.
upset
So
mom.
anyway, definitely grateful for the governor's leadership and what he continues to do on behalf of the folks of the Commonwealth to make sure that we don't just give folks words, but we give them action. Through his tremendous leadership, we've been investing all across Pennsylvania to make sure that we're building things, to make sure that we're cutting down on the red tape and bureaucracy that often happens in government, and to make sure that economic development is not just a phrase or a slogan, but it's how we work in this Commonwealth. So thank you so much, Governor, for your leadership. As the Appropriations Chairman, I know firsthand why and how every tax dollar is spent and where it should be going and why it should be going. But I also know firsthand that dollars are more than just numbers on our spreadsheet. The dollars that we invest in Pennsylvania, they represent our values, our morals, and what we believe is important in this Commonwealth. So when you see dollars from the state going here to Rhoads Industries, what you see is that we're making a continued commitment to folks like Boots and for all of the other young people who we've made a promise that if they went to school and they did what was necessary, that they could have a future for themselves, that they could go out and find employment and careers that would help them take care of their families. Well, far too often, those promises go unmet. And what we've tried to do with our budget is make sure that we're holding fast to the promise that we make to folks. This is a prime example of making the investment not only in industry, but connecting that industry to our schools and to our apprentices. We're so glad to have our friends here at the Building Trades. I see my friend Ryan Boyer of the Building Trades. I see TJ from Local 98. I know we have our friends from the Boilermakers and the Operating Engineers. This is exactly what we talk about when we make these investments, connecting what we're doing here in the shipyard to what happens in our classrooms. Taking those young people and giving them a vision of what their lives could be like. See, the truth of the matter is if you want young people to put down guns, help them by picking up a welding tool and giving them a future that they can be proud of, that they can raise their family off of. Giving them union wages, benefits, and giving them a pension that they can retire to. That's how you solve crime in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, by making significant investments in our young people. So this is an example of what we need to multiply all across the Commonwealth. From Philadelphia to Erie, from Erie to Allentown, and everywhere in between. We need these type of investments in our businesses, but making sure that we're connecting the businesses to our schools and to our young people and to all who want to work in this Commonwealth. See, if you listen to the news, there are folks who will tell you that there are people who just don't want to work. No, there are people who haven't had opportunity. There are people who haven't had the opportunity to be exposed to things like what we see here at Rhoads Industries. Look, I'm a South Philly boy, okay? I grew up and I was not the handiest of people. So I couldn't do this. I wouldn't know what to solder, I don't even know what half that stuff means. Only tools I knew was when I was watching Home Improvement and Tim the Tool Man Taylor. That's all I knew. And I thought he was cool. Don't laugh too hard, but I did. But what I did know is that for me, while this wasn't my pathway, my mother made sure that all pathways were exposed to me. You know, a friend of mine used to say, children are like Kodak film. All they need is a little exposure. And I promise you, when we keep exposing not just young people, but all of our citizens to opportunities like this, I promise you, they will take up the opportunity and they will be successful. So I'm glad to be here, down here at Rhoads Industries. I toured the facility. We're actually in Representative Regina Young's district, so I want to definitely give a shout out to my colleague and all of the great work that she does to represent the people in the 185th district. But I was very impressed when I toured Rhoads about a year ago now, and I got to tell you, we're not making an announcement today, but we're working on something to make sure that we strengthen that connection between the young people and folks who are in our schools and the work they could be doing here. So again, thank you so much to the Rhoads family and all that you continue to do for us. And of course, thank you to our governor for standing up and doing what is right, even in tough times, making the right decisions to continue to move Pennsylvania forward. So thanks so much, Governor.
Thanks so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, Boots, you know what Kodak film is? No, you don't know. Dude. That was. Hey, let me. I know we got to take a few questions from the media, but I don't want you to lose sight of the serious point that the chairman was making. I tried to make as well. When you look at Boots, when you look at, and I'm the gentleman from Glenside. I forget your. These are folks who came out of school and saw opportunity in welding, saw opportunity in joining the trades for themselves, for their families, and now we get more opportunity and freedom because they chose that. I think for a long time, we disrespected certain pathways to opportunity. Here in Pennsylvania, we respect all pathways of opportunity. You want to join the trades, you want to go to college, you want to go to the military, whatever you choose to do, we respect that. And thanks to the work of the chairman and his colleagues and my administration, we're investing in all pathways to opportunity. And I think Rhoads is a great, shining example of how you give opportunities to so many different people from so many different walks of life. And I really appreciate that and respect that. Every Pennsylvanian should have the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed. And here at Rhoads Industry, they do. So thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. With that, if there's any questions from the media, we'll take a few.
We've just been asked to ask you about the DC-33 strike.
The old ask to ask me question? Who's asking you?
CBS3.
All right. What's the question?
What's your take on the DC-33 strike, and how does Philadelphia move forward?
Look, first off, you should know that the mediators from the state, mediators from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, are involved in this, trying to find a resolution. I've communicated with the mayor multiple times. I know she has put an aggressive package on the table. I believe the best package that's been put on the table in decades. I have confidence in Mayor Parker to see this through and to find a way to resolve these differences, to pay a fair wage, and to ensure that the good people of Philadelphia get the benefits of the great work that DC-33 members provide for our city every day. So we're going to continue to monitor it, continue to communicate with all parties, and I'm confident in the mayor's ability to work this through.
I have one for you. J.R. Smith, NBC 10. We'll follow up with that. With all the 4th of July festivities, do you foresee any issues with related?
Look, I think that's a question for the Parker administration. I know they have been working on alternatives for trash. I know they've been working on alternatives for a whole host of things. I don't want to get ahead of the mayor's administration. She can brief you on all the different steps they're taking to make sure everybody has a safe and enjoyable July 4th. And obviously, Commissioner Bethel, I think he's the best of the best, and he's working very hard to ensure everybody's safety and welfare in the city. Anything else?
Can we ask about SEPTA?
Oh, I have a follow-up on that before we change the subject. Has the city asked for any state resources to help with
Not
that?
at this time. And we communicate very regularly on a whole host of issues with the city, and we won't hesitate to step up if they ask for our help. Mayor's got this under control.
Progress when it comes to SEPTA in Harrisburg?
Yeah, we're working hard on it. I mean, Chairman Harris is one of the key players. Look, I think it's important to note I'm one of the only governors in the country with a divided legislature. Got a Senate led by Republicans, a House led by Chairman Harris and the Democrats. So the name of the game is compromise. I think what we have is a level of trust for one another. We're working well together. We understand everyone's priorities. We understand the issues on the table. I'm not suggesting we've got all the answers yet, but we're working through it. I had the leaders in my office just yesterday. There are several meetings occurring today, literally right now. I'll be involved in some of them as well, so will the chairman. And we're going to keep working through it. We want to get a good budget that invests in education and public safety and transportation and a whole host of other issues. And the way we do that is by talking, working things through, and compromising. Here's what I can guarantee you about our state budget. It will be a package of compromises. And I'm working very, very hard to make sure that funding for mass transit is part of that compromise package.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks everybody.